You know that feeling? When a romance anime hits so perfectly you have to pause the screen just to squeal into a pillow, when the tension is so thick you could slice it with a knife, and the payoff is so satisfying you immediately rewind to watch it again. That's the magic we're chasing, and 2025 is absolutely overflowing with it. This is the top 10 trending new romance anime you must watch before 2025 ends. We're diving headfirst into the year's most heart-pounding, tear-jerking, and genuinely unforgettable love stories that are defining the anime scene right now. But before we unveil the #1 couple that has everyone talking, do your part for the algorithm, smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell. And if you are done, let's just begin with number 10. 10. Okitsura. Fell in love with an Okinawan girl. Kicking off our list at number 10 is the cultural romance that's as educational as it is heartwarming. Okay, real talk. Okitsura isn't your typical will they, won't they, it's a can they even understand each other that delivers some of the most genuine moments of the year. When Teruaki moves to Okinawa from Tokyo, he expects a fresh start, but he doesn't expect to fall for Hina, a local girl whose thick Okinawan dialect might as well be a completely different language. The language barrier here isn't just a cute gimmick, it's a genuine obstacle that had me wanting to pull out a dictionary halfway through episodes. You feel every frustrating, charming miscommunication right along with them, turning simple conversations into emotional minefields where a single wrong interpretation could derail an entire relationship. But here's where it gets really interesting. The show cleverly introduces Kana, Hina's best friend who acts as a translator and, surprise surprise, might have feelings for Teruaki herself. This isn't your standard jealous rivalry. Kana's role as the linguistic bridge makes her complicit in a romance that quietly breaks her own heart. This creates a love triangle that's less about dramatic confrontations and more about the quiet, awkward moments of miscommunication and cultural clash. The show literally dedicates segments to explaining Okinawan phrases and traditions, walking the line between romance anime and tourism promo in a way that's somehow endearing rather than cringe. If you're looking for a slice-of-life romance that teaches you something while warming your heart, this is your perfect gateway drug into the world of 2025 romance anime. 9. I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class. Coming in at number 9 is the polarizing rom-com that proves sometimes hate is just love wearing a disguise. I'm getting married to a girl I hate in my class takes the classic fake relationship trope and cranks it up to an absurd but somehow believable level. Imagine your most annoying classmate, the one you bicker with constantly, suddenly becoming your legally wedded spouse due to a family arrangement. That's the nightmare, or maybe dream, that Saito and Akane find themselves living. The genius of this show isn't in the premise though, it's in the execution. Akane could have been another generic tsundere, but her voice actress injects so much personality into every "it's not like I like you" or anything that you can't help but fall for her despite her glaring flaws. The chemistry between these two is like watching a chemical reaction you know is going to explode, but you can't look away. This is one of those better 2025 romance anime that understands a crucial truth. The line between love and hate is thinner than the paper in a marriage certificate. It's a better pick for comedy than pure romance fans, but the romantic tension will leave you starving for more each episode. 8. I Want to Escape from Princess Lessons. Sliding into number 8 is the fantasy romance that gives forced proximity a whole new meaning. I Want to Escape from Princess Lessons presents us with Letitia, a duchess who wants nothing more than to ditch her royal responsibilities, and Prince Clark, who refuses to let his fiancée escape her duties. On the surface, this sounds like your standard fantasy romance setup, but dig a little deeper and you'll find some surprisingly nuanced commentary on agency and personal freedom. Now, let's address the elephant in the room, the uncomfortable power dynamics. Clark literally forces Letitia to remain his fiancée against her will, and the show doesn't shy away from showing how messed up that is initially. But here's where it gets psychologically fascinating. Instead of glorifying this arrangement, we get to watch Letitia's genuine emotional journey from resentment to reluctant understanding. The Princess Lessons become a battlefield where these two slowly dismantle their preconceptions about each other. It's a challenging watch at times, but if you can stick with it, you'll find a romance that actually earns its emotional payoff rather than relying on superficial attraction. This is fantasy romance that isn't afraid to get its hands dirty in the complexities of human relationships. 7. Medaka Kuroiwa is impervious to my charms. Landing at number 7 is the high school romance that deconstructs the popular girl trope in the most entertaining way possible. Medaka Kuroiwa is impervious to my charms introduces us to Mona, the school idol who can make any guy fall for her with a bat of her eyelashes, until transfer student Medaka shows up completely immune to her charms. What follows is a psychological game of cat and mouse that reveals just how broken the perfect high school social hierarchy really is. What makes this show stand out is how it plays with your expectations. You think you're getting a simple story about a popular girl being humbled, but instead you get a deep dive into the performance that is high school popularity. Mona's bubbly persona is a carefully constructed shield for her cynical worldview, and watching that shield crack against Medika's unwavering resolve is nothing short of captivating. The twist? Medika's immunity isn't because he's some ultra-cool rebel. He's training to be a monk and actively resisting earthly desires. This creates a dynamic where Mona's attempts at seduction become increasingly desperate and creative, making each episode a fresh take on the same core joke that never gets old. It's a divisive but refreshing take on high school romance that understands attraction is more psychological than physical. 6. Honey Lemon Soda. At the halfway point, number 6 brings us the shoujo sensation that's been taking 2025 by storm. Honey Lemon Soda is easily one of the biggest romance anime of the year, and for good reason. If you're getting Kimi ni Todoke vibes, you're absolutely on the right track. This is the story of Uka Ishimoto, a socially anxious girl who spent middle school being bullied, and her journey to coming out of her shell after meeting the popular and kind-hearted Kai Miura. But here's what sets Honey Lemon Soda apart: the production value. With JC Staff and TMS Entertainment handling the adaptation, every frame feels warm and vibrant, perfectly capturing the delicate emotions of first love. The Honey Lemon Soda metaphor isn't just a cute title. It represents the sweet yet slightly sour journey of adolescence that the show captures perfectly. While the story follows a fairly typical trajectory for its demographic, the execution is so heartfelt and genuine that you can't help but root for these characters. The slow-burn development between Uka and Kai feels earned rather than rushed, making every small milestone in their relationship feel like a major victory. In a year packed with romance, Honey Lemon Soda stands out as the comfort watch that reminds us why we fell in love with shoujo in the first place. 5. Can a boy-girl friendship survive? Breaking into our top 5 is the romance that questions the very foundation of platonic relationships. Can a boy-girl friendship survive? Takes the classic childhood friends to lovers trope and stretches it to its absolute breaking point. Himari and Yu made a pact as kids to be best friends forever, but now that they're in high school and an old crush of Yu's reappears, that simple promise starts feeling increasingly complicated. Every shared glance and inside joke suddenly carries a new, terrifying weight, turning their comfortable history into an emotional battleground. The brilliance of this show lies in its emotional authenticity. Anyone who's ever been in that awkward space between friendship and romance will feel this one in their bones. Himari's realization that her feelings might be evolving beyond friendship isn't treated as some dramatic revelation, but as a slow, creeping awareness that colors every interaction she has with Yu. It's in the way she overanalyzes his casual touches and the sinking feeling in her stomach when he talks about another girl. The gardening club setting becomes a perfect metaphor for their relationship, something that needs constant care and attention to grow, with no guarantee what it will blossom into. This is one of those 2025 romance anime that understands that the most compelling love stories aren't about love at first sight, but about friendship first, with love quietly following behind. 4. Kowloon Generic Romance. Crashing into number 4 is the romance that will make you question reality itself. Kowloon Generic Romance is not your typical love story. It's a psychological thriller masquerading as a slice-of-life romance that has no business being as deep as it is. Set in a dystopian future where the Kowloon walled city has been preserved as a refuge for those nostalgic for old Hong Kong, the story follows realtors Reiko Kujirai and Hajime Kudo, two co-workers who constantly bicker despite their obvious chemistry. The dense, neon-drenched corridors of the city become a character themselves, a maze that traps both memories and emotions in its endless stairways and steaming pipes. The setup seems straightforward until a simple prank leads Hajime to make an unexpected advance toward Reiko, followed by immediate apologies and confusion. What follows is a mind-bending journey as Reiko investigates Hajime's strange behavior only to uncover past memories she doesn't even remember having. The ground constantly shifts beneath your feet as familiar scenes replay with subtle, horrifying differences, making you wonder if any of their relationship was ever real. This anime masterfully blends mundane daily activities with creeping existential dread, making you question what's real and what's manufactured alongside the characters. It's the sleeper hit of the year for fans of adult romance, mystery, and intrigue, proving that the most generic settings can host the most extraordinary stories. If you want a romance that will stick with you long after the credits roll, this is it. 3. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. Claiming our number 3 spot is the Romeo and Juliet-esque romance that delivers all the feels without the tragedy. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity is easily one of the most anticipated romances of 2025, and it absolutely lives up to the hype. The setup seems familiar. Rintaro's a delinquent from the infamous Chidori High School. Kaoruko's a proper young lady from the prestigious Kikyo Girls High, and their schools absolutely despise each other. But when they meet by chance at Rintaro's family bakery, they form a connection that challenges all their preconceived notions. Their relationship builds in the quiet moments, stolen conversations in the bakery after hours, silent understanding and a shared glance that speaks volumes against the noise of their feuding schools. What makes this series so special isn't its originality, it's its execution. We've seen the delinquent with a heart of gold and the innocent heroine who sees the good in everyone before, but rarely with this level of emotional authenticity. Rintaro and Kaoruko's relationship develops with realistic hesitation and warmth, facing external pressures that feel grounded rather than melodramatic. You feel the palpable weight of societal judgment every time they're seen together, yet you also feel the irresistible pull that keeps drawing them back. The show takes its time developing not just their romance, but their individual characters, making you invested in them as people first, a couple second. It's a feel-good romance, with a healthy dose of friendships being developed, topped off with a sprinkling of believable drama that's resolved in the most natural of ways. Wholesome, relaxing, and inspirational, this is the must-watch pure romance of the year. 2. I Have a Crush at Work. So close to the top at number 2 is the workplace romance that proves adult relationships can be just as thrilling as high school dramas. I Have a Crush at Work offers a refreshing change of pace by focusing on adults with actual jobs rather than high school students navigating hallways. Yui and Masugu are colleagues who are deeply in love but forced to keep their relationship secret because their company strictly forbids workplace romance. What makes this show stand out is its maturity, and I don't just mean the age of the characters. This is a romance between two consenting adults who actually communicate like functioning human beings, which feels like a revolutionary concept in anime romance. The tension doesn't come from will they, won't they, we know they're already together, but from the constant threat of discovery and the creative ways they maintain their deception. Their attempts to navigate professional boundaries while stealing intimate moments in break rooms and after work will have you both laughing and gripping the edge of your seat. Frustratingly, the anime isn't widely available on Western streaming platforms, limiting its reach significantly, but if you can find it, it's an absolute gem that represents the best of 2025's more mature romance offerings. 1. The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity. And here we are, the number 1 spot, the romance anime that has defined 2025 and deserves every bit of praise it's been receiving. Topping our list is none other than The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity, making it the only anime to claim 2 spots on our countdown, and for good reason. While we already mentioned its Romeo and Juliet premise at number 3, what earns it the top position is how it transcends its familiar setup to become something truly extraordinary. This isn't just a story about 2 people from different worlds falling in love, it's about how that love transforms not just them, but everyone around them. Rintaro isn't just a delinquent with a heart of gold, he's a complex young man wrestling with societal expectations and self-worth. Kaoruko isn't just a proper rich girl, she's someone learning to see beyond the privileged bubble she's been raised in. The romance develops with such natural progression that each milestone feels earned rather than dictated by plot requirements. Their first real conversation, their first shared secret, their first moment of understanding, each beat lands with emotional precision that will have even the most stoic viewers reaching for tissues. The supporting cast adds depth and dimension to the world, showing how Rintaro and Kaoruko's relationship creates ripple effects throughout their social circles. But what truly makes The Fragrant Flower Blooms with Dignity the essential romance watch of 2025 is its overwhelming sense of hope. In a landscape often dominated by love triangles, unnecessary drama, and will they won't they tension that overstays its welcome, this series delivers a straightforward, heartfelt story about 2 people helping each other become better versions of themselves. It's the romance anime that doesn't just make you root for the couple, it makes you believe in the transformative power of love itself. And that's a wrap on the romance anime that are absolutely dominating 2025. We've journeyed from heart-pounding office secrets to friendships turning into something more, and now I need to know which couple has you completely obsessed. So let me hear it in the comments, which love story had you screaming at your screen, and which one gave you that classic, heart-squeezing anime romance fever. And if you enjoyed this countdown and want more anime breakdowns delivered straight to your feed, you know exactly what to do. Smash that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss what's coming next. Your support is what keeps this channel going. Until next time, keep watching and keep shipping.